Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. It's Christmas Eve 2022, and every year for the last 10 or 12 years, I have been reading this issue of Avengers to kind of celebrate Christmas. Why, you might ask? Well, this issue of Avengers, Avengers 157, published by Marvel Comics in 1976 with a cover date of March, actually came out in December of 1976. So it was kind of a Christmas issue, and you'll see that as we go through it. I first read this that following summer of 1977 at my local barber shop as a 7-year-old kid. And it was really impactful on me, and it stuck with me my whole life. And when I finally retracked this issue down over a decade ago, I decided I'd read it every Christmas Eve just as a little reminder of where my fandom began. So here it is, Avengers 157. This issue, the most unexpected villain of all. Who is the Ghost of Stone? We have a great Jack Kirby cover. This is after Kirby left DC and returned to Marvel. Marie Severin was doing all the layouts for these Kirby covers that he did across many different titles, and Kirby was delivering the goods with the finished pencils and inks. Great looking cover. Let's get into it. Incidentally, if you like these videos, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Here we have our title, A Ghost of Stone. Jerry Conway, writer-editor. Don Heck, guest artist. Pablo Marcos, inker. Gaspar Saladino, letterer. Don Warfield, colorist. This is about a 10 or 12 issue span of Pablo Marcos inking some really incredible art pencilers on Avengers, and including this guest art by Don Heck. He does a really nice job of punching up Don Heck's very basic pencils. And Don Heck's a great storyteller, a layout artist. I'm not the biggest fan of his pencils, but these Pablo Marcos inks really help Don Heck's pencils here. Incidentally, great ad for the 77 King Kong. All right. Avengers Mansion, Christmas Eve, 1976. Thud, smash. Well, since everything seems secure for the holidays, gentlemen, why don't we adjourn to the kitchen and have Jarvis heat up some mugs of Yuletide? What on earth? Iron Man says. Iron Man, Beast, something smashing through the outside wall. You see Yellow Jacket here pointing that out. And whoever it is, Yellow Jacket, it sure isn't Santa Claus. Love this Beast here. Always one of my favorite Avengers. Welcome to one of the strangest Avenger tales you'll ever read. But don't take our word for it. Read. So, someone is bursting into the mansion here and attacking the Avengers. Who is this mysterious individual? We're about to find out. But we have a great sequence here of Iron Man using his repulsor beams, Beast his agility, and Yellow Jacket his ability to shrink to insect size to evade this debris that's flying in at them. But Beast is not quite agile enough. Yellow Jacket yells, "Someone's leaping through the broken wall. You'd better look out." Pow! Ugh. So the Beast is punched there. Iron Man thinks, the Beast stuns. The Beast's stunned, but he doesn't seem injured, which means I can shift my attention from him to our mysterious attacker. The way he flattened McCoy, he's strong, but so are my repulsor rays. No effect? So the mysterious assailant takes this wire and shocks Iron Man with it, but the Beast isn't finished. Pooh on you, pal. We're a lot tougher than you think. So, you're still conscious, are you? That situation can be corrected, the mysterious attacker says. And he just backhands Beast with ease. Thunk. This guy has us running in circles. We just weren't prepared for violence today, and it shows. But maybe a fast shot from my stinger. So this is back before Yellow Jacket and the Wasp got their powers souped up by Yellow Jacket, Hank Pym, biochemist. And here he's using his disruptor gun at close range, and it has no effect. No go. He didn't even feel it, and that's impossible. What? He caught me. I can't break free. The pressure is squeezing me, blacking out. I'm disappointed, Avengers. I expected greater resistance from my old cronies. But apparently, you've become weak since we last fought side by side, and I've become strong. See how simple it is for me to lift this half-ton computer memory bank, a feat which would have been beyond my previous incarnation. But then my body was made of flesh and blood. Now it's formed of stone. Yet even so, I am who I have always been. Dane Whitman, the Black Knight. Thoom. That's right, Avengers. The Black Knight, whom you abandoned to a cruel eternity of hell. The Black Knight, once your ally, now your foe, and soon your executioner. And Beast thinks as he's blacking out, can't be. The others told me about Whitman, but he's gone. And so here, this Black Knight statue has a reverie or a flashback to the instant where he was animated or reanimated, depending on your perspective. Memory calls the Stone Knight's thoughts backward to a moment not an hour past when a statue stood cold and lifeless in a cobwebbed cellar, the shadowy storeroom of the mage called Dr. Strange. For how many months had it remained there, and amid the arcane refuse of a scholar's studies, the statue neither knew nor cared. It was but a statue. And this editor's note says, since Defenders number 11. The once breathing remains of the man named Dane Whitman transformed to stone by the Enchantress's kiss, which occurred in Defenders number 4. Then, but an hour ago, something happened. From nowhere, a blinding light filled the musty chamber, splintering the shadows, building in intensity, like some radiant eye, or perhaps like a half-open window to some other space. And through the glare, there came a metal hand, which brushed the silent statue and set the statue free. At once, the light dwindled and was gone, but the statue lived. Now this hand here, I think is later revealed in 161 or 162 to be that of Ultron, the Avengers' longtime nemesis. So he is animating this statue of the Black Knight. So Black Knight says, or the statue says, I smashed the alarm system before entering. The other betrayers will have no warning of my presence, which is precisely what I prefer. So here we have a funny sequence where Captain America, the Wasp, Janet Van Dyne, and Jarvis are in the Avengers mansion kitchen, and there's an argument going on. Come on, Jan, don't argue on Christmas Eve. You're both good cooks. Why not leave it at that? Mind your own business, Cap. This so-called cook wants to add sugar to my plum pudding. I merely offered a suggestion, Miss Pym. However, I might add, don't, Jarvis. You can't win, and it really doesn't matter who. Crash! So the Ghost of Stone, the Black Knight statue, bursts through, and Cap recognizes him as the Black Knight, not really putting together that he's made of stone yet. So he charges in to try and take him out. What? Stone? And his shield wangs off of him. Literally, the sound effect is wang. But then we have another sound effect, crack. Captain America's next words are cut off by the sharp slap of rock against bone. Struck, he hurtles back into oblivion. So Cap is taken out. So the Wasp shrinks down, and she says, but why the act? Why the costume? The stone makeup? It's no act, Janet Pym. Believe me, I am in deadly earnest. So she shrinks down and stings him, but he captures her too and eventually deprives her of enough oxygen to make her go unconscious. At length, the small struggles cease, and the Stone Knight unfolds his unfeeling hand. Meanwhile, Jarvis is trying to run away to warn other Avengers. Great little ad here for some Marvel special issues. And we have another flashback. Keep in mind, I'm a 7-year-old kid reading this. So this blew my mind. It took me a few haircuts, because again, I was reading this in my barbershop, and it was there for a couple of months. So it took me a few haircuts to get through this issue and figure out, in my little 7-year-old mind, what the heck was going on. So it was a dense issue to be dropped into as my first Avengers issue. And he does. He unfolds yet another memory. A day many months ago, at the end of a near catastrophic war between the Avengers and the Defenders over the possession of an object called the Evil Eye. So here they're all arguing about the Avengers Defenders War, which occurred back in Avengers 115 to 118 and Defenders 8 through 11. And here Hawkeye says, "Get the picture, guys? Doc Strange sent a message to Whitman's spirit in limbo, and it told us what to do. Perhaps," and Mantis says, "and perhaps you have been misled. This one suggests we consider that we all have been duped by the god of deceit, Loki." So as they go on, they kind of forget about the Black Knight, and this is why he feels betrayed. Eventually, the talk reached an end, but by then, the damage was done. The Avengers left me to remain as I was, a gargoyle of stone. And when the Defenders returned from the battle with Loki and Dormammu, they too left me, journeying back in time for a tryst with my ancestor, the first Black Knight. For this I will forgive neither them nor you. All of you must die. And that refers to a story in Avengers 118 and Defenders number 11. So a lot of continuity laden in this issue. But now we'll shift. Meanwhile, in that part of New York known as Midtown, two more members of our cast proceed through the uncommonly warm winter afternoon as, "Thanks for taking me Christmas shopping, Wanda. New York's changed in the years I spent dead. The riots, the student protests, the money crisis. To you, they're memories. To me, they're just stories. Still, there's a lot that hasn't changed. Tell me, Simon Williams, are you happy?" So here we have Simon Williams, Wonder Man, and Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. "I'm happy, but I'd be happier if your husband would only speak to me. Please, Wonder Man, I don't want to think about him just now. Last night when we argued, he was so cold, so robotic, it frightened me." So she is married to the Vision. "I know how he feels, Wanda, but what about my feelings? According to Hank Pym, the Vision shares my brain pattern, which practically makes him my identical twin. Except I'm still a man, and he's just a, Simon, look, that bus." So as they're musing and walking, they run into a little emergency situation. It's out of control. If it hits the sidewalk in the middle of that mob, all these people will be killed. We've got to move, Wanda. Use your hex power to clear the street. I'll try to stop the bus. So Scarlet Witch creates a little mini earthquake, gets the people out of the way, and Simon Williams, Wonder Man, who's nearly as strong as Thor, gets into the front of the bus and manages to stop it. But after it carries him through a plate glass window. "Good gracious, that man crashed right through the store window. Catch me, Mildred, I'm going to faint." "Wow, there's only one man that tall and that strong. Wonder Man. Forget him, there's the Scarlet Witch. Come on. This guy's autograph I just have got to have." So Simon and Wanda don't want any part of the mob of admirers, so they jump in a cab and hustle back to Avengers Mansion. 5 traffic-filled minutes later. "Here's something else I can't accept. Taxi fares. $2.50 from Midtown to here? Incredible." $2.50 would probably be a pretty good fare, pretty reasonable fare today by today's standards. "This inflation thing is worse than," huh? "Jarvis, for heaven's sake, Miss Wanda, don't open that door." And then suddenly the fist of stone comes crash through the door. "Shut up, you fool. Your warning can't help them now." "Eh? Who on earth are you?" "Never mind that creep. If you've hurt Wanda, I'll smash you to a pulp." We have the Avengers Assemble letters page here. Funny letter here. I'll read it just quickly. "Dear Archie, when are you guys going to bring back the Black Knight? He's been gone for about 4 or 5 years, and I think it's time you brought him back." And the reply is, "He's back this issue, Cliff." Oh, that letter was from Clifford McDonald from Phoenix, Arizona. "He's back this issue, Cliff." Well, in a manner of speaking, he is. Actually, the real Black Knight is still back in the 12th century, inhabiting the body of his ancestor. But we wouldn't be surprised if he does eventually find his way back into the proper timeline. And I believe he does in Avengers 225. So it's quite a long way from here. So it takes a while for Black Knight to return, besides this issue. Back to our story. You're welcome to try, stranger, but as you'll soon discover, your best efforts are wasted. You must be wearing some sort of armor, hard as concrete. I'm one of the strongest men alive, but my Sunday punch didn't even faze you. Who are you, mister, and what are you trying to do? If you don't recognize me, my name would be meaningless to you. As to my intent, I plan to crush the Avengers together with all who assist them. And that, my oversized sparring partner includes, and Wonder Man kicks him back. Aha, caught you off guard. Now hey, that's my leg. Yes, stranger, I know. No, can't let him do this, have to. So he grabs Wonder Man by the leg and knocks him out by smashing him into a mailbox. With the Scarlet Witch my prisoner, I have 3 of the 7 Avengers who betrayed me. Mantis is no more, Thor has vanished, and the Black Panther has returned to his African kingdom. Only the android Avenger remains, only the Vision. And this is probably my favorite panel in the whole book, actually. It's just so well rendered here. This close-up of the Scarlet Witch's face. And with her last conscious thought, the Scarlet Witch repeats her husband's name in a way only a true witch can. So here, the Black Knight has the unconscious Avengers arrayed in the mansion, in one of the mansion labs, and the aforenamed Vision appears. Thus, he doesn't hear the soft pad of footsteps behind him until quietly the Vision speaks. You have won much, intruder, but the end of your game is now upon you. Robot, how did you get in? By walking through the wall. Yet my presence is less at question than your own, stranger. I demand an explanation. You demand? You're in no position to demand anything, robot. Anything but a merciful death. And he swings, and Vision obviously does his thing. At your hand? I doubt it. You can't even touch me, intruder. What? For I can, by will alone, alter my physical density. From airy nothingness to the mass of tungsten steel. Wham! So he knocks the Black Knight down. And now Vision demands to know why he's here. And, and Vision basically suggests that the real Dane Whitman can't possibly be here because he's back in the 12th century. I am Dane Whitman, robot. Remember. Yes, I remember, Vision. The day which is scarred in my mind for all eternity. The day the defenders returned from a sojourn to another land, another time, toting my petrified form like so much baggage. They returned to my ancestral home, Garrett Castle, and soon after, Dr. Strange transported me to his Greenwich Village Sanctum Sanctorum. Yes, robot, I remember. And an editorial note here. And so do we. Defenders number 4, wasn't it? Studious Jer. I remember that I prayed for my release, that you, my friends, would find me. And I remember that when you did find me, you turned away. The Vision knocks him down again. No. Think back, the Vision says. Is that all you can remember from that day? No, I have other memories. Of a trip through a nameless void between worlds. The Valkyrie rode my horse, Aragorn, and carried my ebony blade. This too I remember, android. Would you have me remember more? Yes, Gargoyle. If you are what you claim to be, there is one more moment you must remember. Why? To please you? You're nothing but a thing of synthetic flesh. What can you know about my suffering? I know more than you dream. I know that I was told by Dr. Strange, who witnessed your stony transformation. Do you remember it now, creature? Great Spider-Man hostess ad here. Some great Walt Simonson rampaging Hulk art in that ad. Okay, back to the story. Uneasily, against his will, the Stone Knight remembers the Enchantress, angered by Dane Whitman's artificial love for her, kissed him, and with that act transmuted him to stone. But now his memory brings him something more. And at the moment of transmutation, Dane Whitman's soul fled his body, escaping into limbo, where it remained until contacted by Dr. Strange. And then, the memories cease. That day, Dane Whitman's spirit left his body forever. Today it resides in the 12th century, where it was summoned by Merlin's magic to inhabit the form of Whitman's ancestor. No, you're lying. If that were true, then you are but a memory, masquerading as the man, a ghost of stone, claiming a soul you cannot possess. No, no, I am the Black Knight. I tell you, I am. On the contrary, you are deluded. You are also wasting your strength. My density is that of an unflawed diamond. And here, Black Knight smashes his fist against the vision and it shatters. Lies! Someone has imbued your immobile form with movement and memory, making you a pawn of his revenge. Who is that someone, creature? So Vision wants answers, and he's not going to get them from Dane Whitman. This phony Dane Whitman. Oh, lies! I see, you've become irrational. Still, if you persist in your attack, you will only destroy yourself. The Stone Knight screams, and were he flesh and blood, his veins might bulge, and a line of spittle would cross his cheek. Yet he is not flesh and blood. He is what the vision has called him, a ghost of crumbling stone. So here he destroys himself against the vision's super tough form. Now the air is thick with dust, and were the vision flesh and blood, he might cough or tear. Yet he is not flesh and blood. He is what the Stone Knight has called him, a thing of synthetic flesh. The irony does not elude him, an android who cannot call even his mind his own. Perhaps he too is nothing more than a ghost of crumbling stone. Next issue, at last, story you've been waiting for, Avenger versus Avenger. So Avengers 158 would pick up right from the moment this story ends and feature an absolutely gobsmacking slugfest between Wonder Man and the Vision. And I think that one's drawn by Sal Buscema, inked by Pablo Marcos. And it's fantastic. And I would like to cover it on the show. But this has been Avengers 157, published by Marvel Comics, 1976, right around Christmas time, with a cover date of March, A Ghost of Stone. One of my favorite issues from my long life of reading comics. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like I said, please like and subscribe and tell your friends. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll be back with more soon on Scott Reads Comics.